So I'm so sorry for these technical difficulties. I really hope that it'll all work out, because I had already preached for about 10-15 minutes, and then we only discovered that the quality was not good. So if you could please type in the comments about how the quality is right now. Can you hear me well? Is the video going well? If everything is going well, then please let me know so I can continue. But if the quality is the same like before, if you can't hear, if there's a lot of problems, then we need to think of something again. So this week, we're going to talk about the importance of time. We talked about quarantine and how it was actually a blessing. How quarantine was a blessing in disguise, and that you should use this free time on yourself. It is an opportunity to become control of your own destiny. It is an opportunity to find more time to focus on yourself and focus on your goals and the things that you have made a priority for yourself. However, if we don't know the importance of time, we're just going to miss it. We're going to waste it. We're either going to lose time, like I said yesterday, or we're going to waste time. But you need to know how to react to time and how to invest time. Time should only be invested. It should not be lost. It should not be wasted, but invested. You need to invest it into yourself. You need to increase those values, or into others, creating values in others, or into goods and services. So you need to create values in goods and services and products. So we can do it often. We can listen to many people, but there is still never enough time in this world. And you think, I'm so busy, I don't have time for anything else. I don't have time to do all these things that I know I have to. Where will I find 3 hours to spend on myself every day? In order for these 3 hours to become 10,000 hours, in order to achieve a proper result. This is the quote by Malcolm Gladwell, talking about that if you spend 10,000 hours on any activity, you will become a master in it, a specialist in this field. So where should we take this time from? Where should we take this time? Because we're so busy. I don't know where to take this time from. So we will talk about this. The first point of where to take time is, so we need to realize that lots of us are stressed, we're overstressed, we have so much pressure on ourselves because we're doing way too many activities and we take up too much on ourselves. We have put a lot of burden on ourselves. And it is a problem if we're too stressed. It is terrible. We think that we are normal, but no. And the best solution to this problem is to create an inventory of your life, of your day. That is our first point. How to make an inventory of your own life. So, for this inventory to work, You need to make a list of the activities that take up most of your time throughout the day. You just need to sit down and think back to what do I do every morning? What do I do every afternoon? What do I do every evening? What do I spend my time with? And then you need to categorize them. How many of these activities yield a positive fruit and how many of them are wasteful? So as we talked about not wasting time, we should try to spend most of our time on our calling. No matter what we study, or no matter what we do, we understand that you are busy with your works that are supposed to lead you to your life's calling. That is what you should try to be busy with. You shouldn't only be busy with random tasks from morning to night, because then you can lose your time and then end up losing your life. No, we want to do things that will multiply your time, because each deed that you do, we want you to be the best in it. We want you to be in the top 10% if you're able to. So, with this inventory, you need to ask yourself another question. Let's say you have 10 points in this inventory of what you do every day. You need to ask yourself questions per each activity. What is the product that this activity has given me? What is a product that has been earned from this? Ask yourself these questions with the second question, with the second activity, with the third activity. If there is nothing that you gain positively from one of these activities, you need to start spending so much time on it. And then maybe in another activity, there are 2 positive things that you can get from it. Maybe in your other activity, there are 3 positive yields from it. It is obvious that you need to spend most time on this activity that has 3 positive results. It just makes the most sense for you to spend the most time on things that yield the most to you. You shouldn't spend your time on activities that don't bring you anything. You should try to really limit this list out of 10 activities to maybe 3 or 4. And you need to focus on these 3 or 4 activities every single day. You know why you're doing these activities, to what end you're doing these activities, and what you should receive from them. These activities will give you positive yields. And then you also realize that you are working towards something good. You're not just wasting your time. And you should continue that way. You should only work with this concrete yield. And there's another moment that you need to focus on. When you make this inventory, when you make this list, you need to also ask yourself, but why do I do what I do? Do we do it? Do we do this activity just because everybody else is doing it? Am I doing it because it's tradition? Because I feel like I have to, out of culture? Because it's convenient? because everybody's doing it, so I should do it as well? Or no, am I doing it because there's a specific task and a specific reason? And is this activity tied to my purpose or to a greater goal? Then you'll be able to make two lists. The activities that you do just for fun, and the activities that you do that serve God, that are for a greater purpose, that will help you find your life's purpose, that are for your life purpose. And sometimes we may not even notice, but there are so many things that we do that don't actually have anything to do with us. It's important that it should be, maybe it's not, we should realize that sometimes it's hard to not do these activities because maybe you've been asked to do these activities, you're doing it for other people. However, it does not give us a proper positive result. You're not doing it because it's giving me something. And so when you make this list, it becomes very simple for you to realize what activities you don't have to do yourself. And I remember there was this bishop in Moscow. And then there was some time back where he came to visit us in Kiev, Ukraine. He was here for about a week. And when he was here, he sat with me and he was just talking about his time here. And he was saying, I know the secret of Pastor Sunday. I see that Pastor Sunday does not make unnecessary motions, does not make unnecessary moves. He is free from random, unnecessary things, which differentiates from many pastors in Moscow. Because the pastor himself will open the church, he'll be the first person there, he will drive himself everywhere, he'll be doing so many tasks. He's the administrator of the church, he signs the papers, he answers all the questions. So he has way too many tasks and he's doing too much movements, and not all of them really have a terribly positive impact. And they do not compare it to the task that he is actually supposed to do. And for him, it was a very big lesson that there needs to be a delegation of power, that each person has a task and they should do it. And I was telling him, the most important thing is that I should be free to be able to do the works that bring a result, a positive result. I want all my works to be measured, and I want to be able to measure them. I want to be able to see what they do. I want to be sure that only I can work with it. But why should I bother myself with tasks that other people can do? If other people can drive me, why should I drive when someone else can do it? If others can cook, why should I spend my time cooking? I should do the things that other people can't do. A real person with life's purpose spends his time focusing most of his efforts on tasks that only he can do. And if others can do it, then they should do it. But you should free yourself to do things that only you can do, that are related to your life's purpose. And many of us go to church because we're told to, because tradition tells us to go to church every Sunday. That is what we do. We only go like robots. We go just because it's socially required. There's so many tasks like this that we do just because it's socially accepted, or because it's tradition, or because everybody does so. However, God has His own expectations for us. He expects that if we go to church, we should also have our own personal expectations. We should have expectations to meet with Jesus, to be blessed by Jesus, and to be a blessing to others. But if we just go for the sake of it, it's honestly better to sit at home and spend the time with your family, or run some good errands for people, or to love someone, to help someone, help your neighbor, or to help out at an orphanage. Because to do something just because everybody else is doing it there's really no point to it. We should only spend our time on things that actually produce for us. There are three things, remember we talked about. You can either do three things with time. You can lose time, you can waste time, or you can invest time. So, and time should be invested either into yourself or into others. And all your actions should reflect this. So this action that I'm doing now, with my time, does it work? Which one of these three categories does it go into? Am I investing in myself? Am I investing into others? Or am I losing it? Or am I wasting it? Or am I doing a positive thing and investing it into a good and service? So what is the positive from this action? And we need to take time from this inventory. We need to look it over. We should take time off. And we need to analyze it. And only worry about the things that really give us results. And of course, sometimes there are situations where you can't just skip, like going to your job, preparing food for your family. Of course, there are some things that are necessities that you can't just ignore. So those are understandable. So aside from these things that are absolute necessities, you need to look after yourself and make sure that the remainder of your time does not get wasted, that it will be more goal-oriented. So another point, aside from this list, where else can you get time? You can get time by organizing yourself. It is very common for us to wake up, know what we have to do, and we just move automatically, not manually. We do many things without really thinking about it. However, if we can have a proper routine, if we can make a schedule for ourselves, it will really help. Realize what you can do from 9 to 12, from 12 to 3, from 3 to 6, and so on and so forth, up until you go to bed. it will be very hard to input tasks that aren't helpful. You only want to put tasks that you absolutely have to do. You will see that whether you're spending your time wisely or poorly. So by organizing your life, it will help you to be smart about your time. You can plan it better. Doesn't matter what you do throughout the day. The most important is for you to plan just fragments of the day where you want to receive good stuff. For example, you spend 8 hours at your job, but you have another 8 hours where you're not in bed. You should plan at least 2 out of those 8 hours for yourself and for your personal growth, or for bettering yourself, or for bettering the kingdom of God, or for your ministry. You should try to spend at least 2 hours. It's much easier to plan 2 hours in your day than making your whole day about these things, because you have many other things to do. So you should try to spend at least 2 hours per day that you want to spend effectively. That will only depend on you. Maybe 1 hour, maybe 2 hours. You want to spend that you want to make goal-oriented, that you want to produce results. Because this time that will be only for yourself is very important. Maybe your life does not only depend on you, maybe you need to help others. Maybe you're busy all morning and all night. Find at least an hour minimum, hopefully 2 hours, that you can only focus and dedicate towards yourself. And that these 2 hours, they'll be used for good. They'll be organized well. They'll be around your purpose or your profession, whatever you actually have to do, whatever makes you happy and joyful, and what makes, more importantly, God happy and joyful. May that be 1 or 2 hours, whatever it is. You know that this time is mine, and I'm only doing this in my time. It's also a part of organization. So yes, if we're living in this time where you want to work, that you want to be helpful to everyone, but most importantly to yourself, you need to organize your day and find those bits and pieces and time where you can spend on your time. And spend it on yourself. This is time that is strictly for you and for fulfilling your life's purpose. It will make worth the other times that you're spending on other things. So yes, this was another way which will help you to not waste your time. It will help you to find time. Because you may not be in control with the other hours in the day, but you will be in control of that little nugget of the day which you're spending on yourself. But this organization needs to be very tight. It needs to give you that time, to give you a way to escape and work around everything. So your organizer should be made with the focus of finding you those few hours, those couple of hours to help you. And another point of where to get time, where to get extra time, You need to not socialize as much. You need to stop going for coffee as often with your friends. We spend a lot of time with our friends just doing silly things, just going for a walk, for coffee, going for a meal. These things is what we call empty time wasting. That's what kills time the most. Of course you can do this when you really, really work hard and you have planned to actually spend time on yourself, and then you have a free hour or two, and then you wanted to see your friends, or if you want to catch up with a friend you haven't seen for a long time, it's a different matter, because the rest of your time you're actually spending it on yourself and you're making it a positive build. So the going out with your friends could be a treat, because if you're spending 5 hours on yourself and just one on your friend, it makes sense. But if you always want company, if you always want people around you 24/7, and then one person is inviting you to their house, then you're inviting someone else to your house, you have a wedding the next day, you have too much activities. You need to limit them a bit, all these social gatherings. People that achieve something in life are people who isolate themselves, typically, who limit themselves, who don't spend all their time with other people. They spend most of their time on themselves. They try to keep focused on themselves, but others who always want to be around people, always want to see other people, always want to go to new places. It's very hard for them to be constructive with their time and to spend it on self-education and bettering themselves. Because when you're always around others, it's very hard for you to focus on yourself. There's no time for you working on yourself. And if you don't create values inside of yourself, you won't be able to pass this on to others. It won't reach others. And so on and so forth. You can only give to others what you have. You can't give to others what you don't have. So yeah, the third point is for you to separate yourself from others. And I remember when I was growing up in Nigeria, everybody was always saying, yes, everybody needs to come forward. Somebody has this event, somebody has this celebration, you need to get new clothes, you need to get... So you always be pushed to go in one direction or another. Then you won't really be doing anything there, but you just have to go because everybody is going. And if you're always doing tasks for other people, not for yourself, it'll be very hard for you to find time to better yourself for things that actually can make a great person out of you. So these three methods of how to find time, and tomorrow I'll give you even more ways to find time. So remember, the first way is to make this inventory, make this list. The second, about what I talked about. Oh, let me remind myself. What was my second point again? That you need to organize yourself, organize your day. You should try to organize your whole day, if not the whole day, then just a few hours of the day that you can use for yourself that is around your goal, that is focused on your goal and your life purpose. And number 3 is you need to stop spending as much time with your friends if it doesn't lead you to anything. Because this is valuable time that you could have spent on improving yourself. It's only when you have extra time that you should spend with your friends if it is not for a good thing. And that is how it is. This will help us to find some time for ourselves and to focus it on ourselves, or on blessing others, on nurturing others, or on creating goods and services. But it should all be for God, for making it better. And that is the main points that I wanted to talk to you about today. Tomorrow, I may continue this topic because I have a lot of other points to tell you guys about of how to find time. But we should still see what I have for you tomorrow. And so I hope that this was beneficial to you. Please be blessed. And may you have a great rest of the program.
Благословляем вас, короче.